Hello friends, today I want to share with you a direct comparison between the Rav Moon D Celtic, the Rav Vast D Celtic, and a D Celtic handpan. I think with the advent of these new Rav Moons, it's such an interesting opportunity to change the way that we're playing and change the way that we think about tongue drums. To me, the Moons feel almost like a handpan in how they respond to strikes, and you'll hear that as I'm playing through all of these, but I think a direct comparison is probably the most useful thing for new players. So let's take a look at that right now, starting with the Rav Moon. First up is the Rav Moon D Celtic. Next up is a D Celtic stainless steel handpan. Next up is a D Celtic Rav Vast Indigo generation. Okay, here's a little song played on all three of them. This is the Rav D Celtic. Next up, same tune on the Rav Moon. Next up is a D Celtic handpan. Here's just the ding on the handpan. Here's just the center note on the Rav. And here's just the center note on the Moon. So what you'll notice between all of these instruments is that two of them have a bloom that comes after you strike the fundamental. So on the stainless steel handpan, there's a fundamental, and then the harmonics come up from that. And the Rav Moon does something similar, where you hear the fundamental and then the harmonics rise out of that. And that's very different than the Rav, which kind of has them all in parallel, and then the fundamental decays after that. This could be good for people that are looking for instruments that have a little more sustain, a little more bloom and warmth. I think that this would be perfect for people that like sustain, like sort of yogic playing, or people that are comfortable controlling an instrument sustain in a song. I don't agree with people when they say that sustain makes instruments unplayable for faster playing. That is not true. It just requires a player to adapt to that instrument. So don't be deterred by any sort of sustain on any instrument. You can control that in your actions and by the things that you do. So I encourage you to learn to do that through various channels, either experimentation or taking lessons with people like myself. So ultimately, I find that both the Rav, the Moon, and the handpan all have characteristics that I like. And I think it's going to come down to whether you want to play it in a particular fashion or not. Things like the stainless steel handpan are going to give you longer sustain, warmer sound. The Rav Moon is very similar to that in how it responds to strikes and blooms. And the Rav Vast is a very controlled and warm instrument. So I guess you choose the instrument that fits your playing style well. There's no better or worse in that capacity. I think when you get to experiment with other types of instruments, you find which one you connect with. Sometimes it's a Rav, sometimes it's a handpan, but you kind of have to work with what you have. And you'll be able to discover different things depending on the instrument that you're using. So if you have any questions, do be in touch about the Rav Moon. I'd love to talk to you about it and share some of my explorations on it. Hope you guys are well, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Stay well.